station. But my center is always, it's always voted as the top. Why? Because, I mean, I push myself, I push my staff, I believe in it, and when parents, when they come in, they have to believe that, that I'm going to help their kids, and that my staff is going to be there to help them. And that's why when I talk to them, I say there's no one else can do what I do. There's other places out there. There's, you can go and you can shop around, you can look, but there's a difference between a Louis and Coach. And then so you want to come here, you want a Louis. That's how I do it. So it's all about belief in what you're doing, and I believe that as far as what we do is stronger than anybody else. So when you go into this, and like she said, you research your competition, you have to know where their strengths, their weaknesses lie, and then you have to say, okay, no matter what it is that they're doing, what I'm doing is better.
So I'll add to that. Along the same lines, I think it's about uniqueness and differentiation in any business. I get a lot of vendors and stuff like, hey, I do this, but instantly, how's it that you're different from all the other vendors, right? I mean, you have to be good and better than your competition. So do your research. There's two quotes that I follow by this in some of my walls. One is, everybody's a genius. It's just, everybody's a genius, but if you teach a fish to climb a tree, it will grow up thinking it's stupid. So first figure out what is it that you want to do, what is it that you're going to specialize in and focus in, which could take 20 years, 30 years, whatever, to figure that out. Second, once you do figure that out, the next quote is, so the first quote was by Einstein. The second quote is, I'm not afraid of a man who knows 1,000 kicks, but of a man who has done one kick 1,000 times. So be really good at it. Be better than all your competition. Like, you have to be almost to the point where I'm going to be a little crazy about this business so that I can be so good that you don't have to go out and I'll create you a value for you. And that's, create a value, basically, and that's what people pay for.
I would say for me, you definitely have to have, those are all great qualities, and those are all things that I myself would have said. You have to have a vision. You have to be really specific in your vision and what it is that you want. Because it can be very general, but until you get specific of what it is you're good at, what you're passionate about, what comes very natural to you, and write that down and stay with that, you can kind of lose focus if you are doing research with the competition because you're too busy trying to be like other people and mimic, and really when it comes to industries out there, sometimes they're just reinventing the wheel. They're taking something and they're making it better. So you just have to write down specifically what it is that you're looking to achieve, and then also be open to know that as you grow and as you hone in on the vision, it's subject to change because the industry changes, because things change. We're in a society where things are constantly evolving and changing and we can't keep up. So you have to be aware of that as your company grows or as you're focusing on a company, it's going to evolve and it's going to change, and it's okay for you to change with it because that's really, once you're honing in on what it is you want specifically, as you grow, it's going to become bigger than yourself. You're going to have to make changes. So that would be what I would add too.
What works for me is if you have a vision, you have to just stick to that vision. I'm stubborn. I don't believe in the word no. I believe in just revamping. Don't shake your head at me. Revamping. My sister knows. As long as you believe in your vision, that's all that matters. I've been doing this for like over 10 years and just sticking with it. When I say I'm busy on the weekends, it's because I'm busy trying to make this and make it better. Researching this to make it better. Attending seminars, attending that, and I had to miss out on a lot of stuff. I'm a single mom, and if someone says you can't do it, you can do it. It just depends on what's in you. You have to be determined and know that you can do it. I didn't come from a rich family. I didn't grow up, someone giving me something. I believed in what I believed in, and I just worked at it. I worked a good job, and I used my job to finance what I wanted to do. And you have to skip out. You have to skip out on buying expensive purses, buying the expensive shoes until where you get to where you need to get to. I had to wear the same 3 pair of pants and switch out my shirt all the time. I had to move in with someone, my mom, and until I stacked my money to get where I wanted to get to. Because I believe in the vision, not no one else. I believe in it, and I keep working. I even work on it to this day. Keep on every night. I work on the recipe. I'm working on the next branding thing every night. You have to keep on. You're gonna miss out on birthday parties, weddings, I missed out on funerals, everything to get where I need to get to. So just always believe. I had to sacrifice my sleep because my vision was more deeper than that. And I don't care about no one else is doing. Nike's not worried about Reebok, so I'm not gonna worry about you, what you're doing. I'm gonna keep on doing what I gotta keep doing.
So these are some great pointers, some great takeaways. We've heard here about sacrifice, not taking no for an answer, also being specific with your vision. Here she said stubborn. I got that part real quick. That's my issue here. And then Tristan mentioned things about strengths and weakness of your market, because there's always going to be someone else out there doing something similar to what you're doing, but that's what my Bible says. Your gift will make room for you. And also with differentiation and all those things and those quotes, you have to really get some proverbials to keep you going. You know, believe in yourself and what you're doing. And he mentioned also about being unique. You're already unique, so stay that way, stay that path. So this is some great information, you guys. So here's the second question. And I'm getting the hard ones out of the way. According to the Small Business Association, 30% of new businesses fail during the first 2 years of being open, 50% of the first 5 years, and 66% during the first 10 years. Those are some really alarming statistics, but nonetheless true. What do you feel are primary factors that cause businesses to fail? And can these factors vary due to a person's, possibly their ethnicity or economic background? If so, and how?
As I said before, I don't think it has anything to do with your background. It's just your drive, right? Also having a strong team. And stop being like you can do everything. Don't be stubborn with it. You have to let people in, have to let people help you. That's my problem. I don't like no one to help me. I don't like to tell my business. I don't like to put it out there.
Entrepreneur.
All that. Trust me, it's a lot of blood, sweat, tears, crying, and I do that alone. But I had to let people in. I had to let people help me because I was failing. I felt like I was failing. You know, you have to let people in at the end of the day. You have to have a strong team. You got to get the right people around you, people you can trust, and people that can actually add to your business. People say, oh, I can help you, but okay, what can you do? And you find out what their strengths are, and whatever their weakness, you fill in those voids. But then you can't do everything because you will kind of fail at it. And failure doesn't really mean failure. It just means revamping. Revamping as you go along, because as times change, and the days change, and the customer base change, you have to keep revamping it. So I don't really believe that has to do with how you were brought up. Because I grew up, like I'm going to tell you, I grew up dirt poor, homeless, all of that. My mom had 4 kids, and then I became a single mother by myself. And, you know, was able to buy a $500,000 house, living in LA with no roommates. So, was able to do it. So, it just depends on how bad you want it. And surround yourself with a team.
Yeah, I would definitely have to agree with her in terms of being able to identify at what point you're at your capacity and you have to bring others into play. Because if you really hone in on what it is that you're wanting to do, you hone in on the vision, if you're successful in executing the vision, it takes a lot of hard work, perseverance, determination. At some point, you're gonna be bigger than you can handle. You just are, if you're honing in on all of those key factors. So you have to realize that you have to bring people into play. You're gonna have to take chances. And not all the time, the people that you bring into your circle are gonna be people that are there for the long term. They're just there for a season. And you identify the season and you let go of it when you need to let go of it. That would be, I think, another problem that people have is that, you know, they have one source of help, and when you're identifying there's a time to shift into something else, they don't want to let go. They're still holding on to the past when there's something in the future that's actually supposed to be coming that's better. So you got to be able to determine those trends. And then also, I think every entrepreneur, I think one of our strengths that can also be our weaknesses is that we want to be in control of everything. Like, you just have to, because no matter what, no one's going to do it better than you. But you have to start to get, like, there's some things that even if they don't do it as good as you, it's okay. That's not what you need to focus on. You need to focus on the things that are going to bring in more business, they're going to bring in more prosperity, they're going to bring in, you go into the next level, and you train other people, and you identify that even if it's not on your level, it's still good enough to make this business work better. I would say like those are probably one of the biggest things of identifying trends, identifying shifts, and being okay with it and relinquishing it, and just knowing that having the belief at the end of the day, even with those ups and down shifts, the big picture is you're gonna be successful. You have to have that mindset, because there's gonna be plenty of times where you're gonna question, oh my gosh, is this gonna fail? Oh my gosh, have I gotten to the point where it's not like, this is it, this is the end? You're gonna have those all the time, and you really have to reprogram your mind and just say, no. I made a decision, this is what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna continue doing this is not gonna stop, and I'm gonna get to where I wanna be. Like that has to be the mindset no matter what, and in those shifts, it's like you let go of what you need to let go of, and you accept what you need to accept, you identify those things.
I don't know if I have anything better to add. You guys have reached parts as well. I mean, everything everyone is saying so far really, really is key. I mean, you have to be able to work hard. You have to be able to be okay with losing, sleep. For myself, again, the same kind of thing. When I was starting off for the first 6 months to a year, I would go 3 nights without sleep every single week, and I'm not exaggerating. I kid you not. It was rough. It was hard, but I had a goal in mind, and I wasn't willing to fail because I wasn't willing to put the effort in. I mean, I could always catch up on some sleep. Yes, my friends are going out. Yes, I would have to say I can't do it this time. But what I wanted was more than just getting to go out and have a few hours of fun. There'll be time when I can go out and have some fun. But for investing everything you put into having your own business, your own career, it's not just money. It's a bit of yourself. It's your personality. It's your respect. It's everything. It's your courage. You don't want to fail. And for me, one of the hardest things would be knowing that I could have succeeded if I just worked a little bit harder. And that's probably the same thing that everyone has in common. You know the fact that you're so scared to fail and you don't want to fail. You are willing to put in that extra bit of work, that extra few hours, extra sleepless nights, and the same thing, it got to a point when I grew and I realized I could not do it by myself. Like, I could not get help quick enough. And it's hard because no one does it as good as you do. But you do need to realize it's better to have someone else help you, and it will not get done the way you necessarily want it, but it'll be just fine and you can grow. Also to realize that, there are certain times where you do go down that rabbit hole of research sometimes, and you start to lose focus on sight, again, of what works well for you, what works well for your business. You have to pay attention to patterns, what items or what things are people most interested in. Don't deviate too far from that. Stick with what people want to know, but don't also be afraid to try something new. But just pay attention to trends. Pay attention to what consumers want. Lots of businesses fail because they're too busy being like, well, I like this, and I just want to go off over here. Keep your brand and everything true to you, but do focus on the whole point is you're bringing something to people because they want it. So don't lose sight of that, basically.
I believe the common theme from the previous speakers is the willingness to delegate. It's like you have to learn how to delegate as far as finding somebody that you trust. Because if you don't have help, you're not going to grow. Because you can build a business and you start getting clients and it's all great. But what happens when you get sick? What happens when you want to go on vacation? What happens like right now? Can you hear? Okay, sorry. What happens like right now, you want to do other things. Do you have to close up shop? It's like, no, you need somebody that you trust that can still make you money while you're off doing other things that help make you money. So right now, somebody is running my center. I trust them. I always train a couple of, at least 2 lead tutors. And to where, if I'm out, I have to do other things, they can handle walk-ins, they can handle if there's a complaint, they know if there's somebody that there's a potential customer, you better not sell them, you're not as good at sales as I am. You get their information, you forward it to me, then I'll call them. So everybody has their own strengths and weaknesses. So one of my staff members is great in marketing. Another one is great at the operations, keeping the kids in line. And then so I keep them where they're strong in. You focus on this right here. I focus on everything else. And then so willing to delegate is number one. And I think the reason why a lot of people don't make it is pride. Is that when you are an entrepreneur, you have a sense of ego. You have a sense of pride because you took a leap of faith. A lot of people go to the 9-to-5s, they're good with it, they'll ride it out for the rest of their lives. They're cool with it. But that's not you. You know, you wanted to be something different. You wanted to be your own boss. The coolest thing in the world for me was when I wrote a check to myself. You know, so that is something that I take a lot of pride in. But however, sometimes pride comes right before the fall.
That's right.
And a lot of people, they continue to do the same things. And I help other tutoring places, other tutoring clubs, franchisers, and they're not making any money. I say, okay, I'm making, like, let's say $50K a month. You're at $5K a month, but you're trying to tell me everything that you're doing right. And then it's like, and having excuses. So then that's the thing, is that a lot of the business owners will have a lot of excuses, saying like, oh, this is the reason why I'm doing this, or I'm like, but you're still not making any money. You know, so it's that ego that you have to check, you know, as far as, because if you put so much time, effort, energy, money into doing this, why would you want to watch it all fail because of the person that's in the mirror?
So I'll pretty much repeat what this says, so, you know, just in a different formats, maybe it'll resonate with you guys. So 3 things I think that reasons people fail. One, like this you mentioned before, is the grit, the just not giving up, right? I mean, you hit a dead wall, climb over it or something, right? Like figure out a way, you'll just keep going. So that's one reason. Some people just don't want to do it or never had it in them, they thought they did and just didn't go, right? Like I can never be in the Marines, but there are people who can just keep going and do that, right? So it's the grit part of it. The second is provide value, kind of to the pride point, provide value to a customer. Yes, it's about you as an entrepreneur, but you don't, I don't sell. Like I try to provide you value. If you want to give me money for that, great, I need that, but at the same time I want to provide you value. What is it that I can do for you that you couldn't do for yourself? I'm not going to ever come to you and say, hey, I got this cool thing, you want it? Like, yeah, you could get that anywhere. So what is it that I can do for you that you can't do for yourself? So that second thing is provide value. Understand your customers, understand their problems and needs, and resolve it. That's what you're there for. And then third, kind of, third, kind of like what they were saying, focus. Like, it's hard. As an entrepreneur, you want to do it all. You want to do it, you think no one else can do it better. And so far I've seen it, no one else can do it better. But, you know, understand what their strengths are and let them do it. There are people that sells way better than me. I'm not a good salesman, but I know my product, so I sell it better. But at the same time, there's people who are naturally better salespeople. Let them sell for you. There's people that can market better for you. There's bookkeepers, accountant. Take out everything you can, focus on your core strength, and just do that really well. So those are, I think, the 2 reasons people fail.
Some good stuff, right?
Yes.
All right, awesome. Okay, so what I'd like to ask now is, well, I'd like to mention first, because I think I might have shared a little bit of this when we were in the back, but Forbes released their list of billionaires for the year 2019. Who's the wealthiest on that list? Anybody knows? Basically, yes, Jeff Bezos. He owns Amazon. Well, he's the CEO of Amazon. And their ranking includes 2,153 people who have a combined wealth of 8.7 trillion. I want the trillion. Probably 25 of those billionaires reside right here in the Dallas-Fort Worth metroplex. Do you believe that becoming a billionaire is a realistic goal? And why or why not?
I believe that you can do anything you put your mind to it. So, and so how long you gonna get to that realistic goal, but hey, you know, I believe, like I said, you can do anything you put your mind to it. I always put on my little hashtag multi-millionaire because I know I can get to that goal right now. So yes, I do honestly believe it's a realistic goal.
sides, or along the lines of, or you can put anything that, you can do anything you set your mind to. And I think the biggest thing is understanding the power of the mind. We really don't realize what we're capable of or what we have access to by our thoughts. Our thoughts trigger our behaviors, our habits, our actions, it's everything. And I think a lot of us just allow thoughts to endlessly go inside of our mind and not really check them and realize, like, things from not thinking that you're worthy, not thinking that you're good enough, not thinking that you're capable. Like, those thoughts can come into our minds so many times and we don't check it. And it's those little habits, those little things that you're not paying attention to that can really shift or make all the difference in the trajectory of where your life goes, success included. For me, like, I'm on the millionaire page right now, and then once I get there, it's like, okay, maybe I can focus on billions. Like, my picture is here, but you never know at whatever point, once you get there, it shifts and it goes bigger. Because I think that we are designed to keep on moving forward. If we're not growing, we're dying. If we're not going forward, we're going backwards, right? And we are designed to create and to make things come into fruition. And if you're not doing that, then you don't have a sense of purpose or happiness, and you need to find that. But it really all begins in your mindset and what you're telling yourself and what you're capable of. Because if you really hone in on that, I'm telling you things. It's limitless, like what you're capable of. But it takes a lot of hard work in here, and then believing what you're telling yourself. So.
I agree. I think it's possible, no matter what career you have, if you want to make millions and that's your goal, you can definitely do that. It doesn't matter what you're into. If it was me, I personally don't have that goal, and that might sound a little bit silly. My goal is to be comfortable and to provide a value that people just love and they can't get enough of, and it makes them happy. That's why I do what I do. I love doing something awesome and creative, like a cake for someone. Sure, it's just cake, but for me it's an art form. And the look on people's faces when they get it, lots of people tear up, they hug me because I've been a part of their celebration or their memory, and I've made it just that little bit more special for them. And they get pictures, they get to look back on those. When they're sad, they can flip through and see these awesome pictures, and I get to be a part of that. And so that's why I do what I want to do. But if I was doing it for millions, and maybe in a year or two, that might be my goal. I've only been open for a year and a half, which is nothing. That's so new in the line of the world of business. But if I do in a couple of years' time, I fully believe that if I want it hard enough, I can make it happen. I made this business happen. I've been in magazines, we've been on TV several times, on news shows, and no one ever thought I could do that. My parents said, don't do it, don't do cakes. They were like, anyone can bake a cake, and I'm like, yeah, but it's what I want to do, and I feel I can offer something different, just like you. You offer something different than other people do. So, that's pretty much it. Just, if you want millions, that's your goal, you can definitely do it. There is nothing to stop you except for yourself. And just don't listen to other people. You do what you need to do.
I believe that being a billionaire is realistic for the right person. There's a reason why only maybe 0.01% of the people in the world are billionaires. Because not everybody wants to be a billionaire, but not everybody can. And that, some of my students, they said, like, I'm going to be rich. Like, they're in 8th grade, they're swearing down to go play with the Cowboys, they're all going to be doctors, all that other good stuff. But they're already spending money that they don't even have. And I'm like, so what are you going to do with it? Well, I'm going to buy you an Audi. They're talking to the girls in the room. I'm going to buy you an Audi, and you're going to get a Porsche. And the girl's like, can I have a white Audi? And all that good stuff. But in all seriousness, they're already looking to spend the money. So what happens is when you earn more money, you spend more money. And then so that's why it's hard for a lot of people to be millionaires, billionaires. You don't have to be an entrepreneur to be a billionaire or a millionaire. It's like you just have to save and actually be smart and invest instead of investing in things that depreciate. So that's why I'm really big on as far as saving and investing and being smart with it. So it is a realistic goal for some people, but it has to be the right type of people.
So, I mean, I have a little different perspective along the lines of what you guys said, you know, I think don't chase money because if you're chasing that, you're not chasing what the value you provide to the people, right? So chase that and people will get you money. That's what you want also. That's something you gotta be careful about too. Just because everyone else wants it doesn't mean that's good for you too. Don't try to be Mark Zuckerberg or Steve Jobs. Just be you. Just figure out yourself out. Don't worry what people are doing on Instagram or Facebook or they've got an Audi or a Mercedes or whatever. If you don't care for cars, don't spend your money on it. Do what you care for. You know, and those are the people like you look at Bezos or those people didn't chase to be a billionaire. They chased to do something else and they became a billionaire in the process. If you're chasing money, you're wasting your time on that.
Yeah, that's right. And that's one of the main reasons, well, all the feedback that you heard, that's the main reason I came up with that question. I have a friend, he's doing well in New York, and he's a graphic designer, and he's amazing. He's also an artist. And he tells himself, and I do believe in speaking your life into existence, and he says, I am a billionaire. So I kept thinking, and I was like, do I have to believe that before that happens? Yeah. And this is why I ask the questions I ask, because it's spurring all the conversation and it's getting the wheels turning for some of you guys who maybe are doubtful about, you know, grabbing your own businesses and starting those. And I told him, I said, you know, the soul is the goal for me, is what I mentioned to him. I said, if I make $1 billion, you better believe I want to touch billions of lives. So that's more, you know, why I answered the question. And so the next question, I probably have about 2 more. It's not difficult. Let me do that. Customer service is key to any business's success and vitality. What are some of your best practices when implementing the expertise of your customer service?
Repeat it again, I'm sorry.
Oh my God. I'm sorry. Customer service is key to any business's success and vitality. What are some of your best practices when implementing the expertise of customer service? What makes you unique with your customer service?
Well, I'm thankful for customers, for my customers, so I don't complain about it. I'm thankful that they actually come in and spend money. If they can go anywhere and spend money on cakes, cookies, salads, whatever, they choose me, so I don't complain. I just try to do everything with a smile, because I don't know what's going on with this customer for him to have attitude or her to have attitude, and I try to have that personal relationship, especially with the ones who come in that are regulars. I try to notice the little things about them, like, oh, you're getting the Cobb salad with a certain different dressing, and that brightens up their day. Or they may have grandkids, ask about the grandkid, or just about life in general. I'm faith-based, so they might need prayer, they might need encouragement. I'll go sit down with them. People who fight with depression coming in, and I tell them, come see me, and I'll give them a free cup of coffee, and let's talk it out, you know? Even if they come in complaining, or my mom was like the other day, oh, I think this customer is something wrong with bipolar, she's this way today, and then every week is something different. I said, well, you don't know what's going on in her life. Have you tried to ask her what's going on? Like, not to get personal, but just, you know, maybe you could have offered her just, you know, oh, while you're waiting, here's a little cookie or something. She comes in and spends money all the time. So it's nothing to give something, a little something for free to get a lot back in return. I am big on customer service. I don't believe in meeting people at their level, or I'm going to match their energy. You can't do that. You're in a field to deal with customers. You need to rise above that energy, because at the end of the day, it will make it a lot worse. You know, one little thing can get out, or they might not. They'll tell their friends, and their friends, and them coming in might be the highlight of their day. You know, and I get personal. I'm real personal. I hug people. I'm a hugger. I'm touchy-feely, and that's me, not a, you know, crazy, you know, me too, hashtag, you know, whatever. But I am. Because that hug, that smile might really brighten someone's day. We all fight with things. We all battle with things. Life is hard enough as it is. So I try to connect with my customers on a different level, even if you never come back and spend money again. It's not about that, because I believe too, if you do what you love, the money, and everything else is gonna come. So I don't even focus on that. I focus on my customers and making the experience better, because you never know who you're gonna meet. Like I have this guy that came in, he came out from London, loved his accent, dressed down. I didn't even know, you know, would never know he had money like that, or just whatever. I just was connected with him. He came about some hot chocolate, and I made him the best hot chocolate. He was a head person of esports. And they're having an award show tonight, which I can't even go to, in VIP. I was like, so I gave it to my nephew, my brother, who are gamers. But just because of that, I didn't judge him of how he looked, how he was. I didn't know he was a head person, because I treat everybody the same. Down to the janitor, whoever, I treat everyone the same. And I just believe in customer service and not complaining about your customers if you think when you have customers, right?
So I'm essentially in a business where we sell time and service. That's what we do, right? Like we're helping people get to their fitness goals, but it's an experience they're paying for, right? So for us, I think what's really succeeded with me, and it wasn't something that I pinpointed right off the bat. How I found out and realized like, oh wow, that's really what sets us apart, is that we were doing video client testimonials with our clients and asking them like, what is it about Elevate Fitness that makes you keep coming back? What's the one thing that you would never want to change? And the one thing that they were all consistent about saying was, I feel like I'm a part of the family. I feel like I can come to a place where I can be myself. I'm not being judged. If anything, I'm being welcomed and I'm being encouraged to be somebody better. And I think for me, like that just makes all the difference, because I too am in a saturated market. There's 24-hour fitnesses, there's lifetime fitnesses, there's even small personal training gyms. So there is something that I have to provide to set myself apart from the competition. And I would say that somewhere along the lines, like I got into fitness because I myself like to work out, and I was an athlete, right? But then I liked it because of the science, and then as I grew and became a business and became bigger than what I could handle, I had to try to figure out what is it that I can do to continue to grow, because I'm in such a saturated market. And I unintentionally stumbled upon understanding that when people are coming to transform themselves physically, it's not just a physical thing. There's actually a mental and an emotional stumbling block that they're on right now. And they're looking for somebody to show them that, take the block away, to help them move forward. And so it became that for me. It became, what do I need to speak into you to help you understand that there's a better version of yourself that you don't see yet, but I see it. And as a result, that type of experience that they had is what has allowed us to kind of get to a place of growth that I'm super thankful for. But I think essentially, when you're dealing with people, we want to be connected, right? We are looking for connection on some level. We want to be known. We want to be accepted. We want to be paid attention to. So it's about being able to hone in on a connection that you do well with and honing in on that. But everybody, and when you have that connection that you're good at, you're going to draw the attention of those people that also want that type of a connection. They identify with that connection and they appreciate that type of connection, and that will allow your business to grow. But when you're dealing with people, you're essentially dealing with people that they want some type of togetherness. They want to feel like they're a part of something. So it's about being able to identify that and kind of hone in on that. But yeah, I think that's what's made my business successful.
Everything obviously you guys have said, and even kind of just expand on a little bit of, because we're in similar industries as well, is making your customers feel special. That is, the reason we're doing what we're doing is because we want to give people something. We want to provide them with a better service. We want to help them in some way. You know, no matter what your industry is, you're not necessarily doing what you're doing for the sake of money. You know, there's money to be made other ways. If you're an entrepreneur, it's because you see a way of doing something better than maybe someone else does, and that's what you want to do. So the same thing, at my store, we try to make sure that everyone feels special. And I mean, you know, it's the same way, like, don't you love being made to feel special? Like someone actually cares about you and cares about what you want? It's the same thing. You know, greet everyone with a smile, because that goes a long way. When you've had a bad day, and you, like you said, you don't know what someone's going through, it can make all the difference when someone smiles to you. You know, it doesn't fix the problem, but it kind of makes that world seem that little bit less lonely and heavy. Also, whatever you can do to make the customer's experience unique, or different. We carry the cakes out and things to their car. They appreciate that, even if they're a big, buff, strong man. And they're like, no, it's cool, I got it. We're like, no, honestly, seriously, we can do this. We'll take it out for you. We don't want to see you balancing one-handed, trying to open the car door and hold your cake up in the air. So we go above and beyond. Figure out ways that you can make a customer's experience better. How would you like to be treated? What would you like if you were in your customer's position? And do it. If you can, for some of them, you can't always for everyone. There are some clients that, we do what they ask, but there are a few handful, if we have time, we might try and do something extra special for them, like whether it's giving them something free, or if, that we know that something happened in their family and it's tragic, and we know we can't fix it, but here, we've made this cake extra special for you. Now you've got, a cake that's worth X amount more, which they couldn't afford or pay for, but, sometimes just doing what you can to enrich someone's life, it doesn't matter what you get in return. It's not about the money, it's about making people happy and, having a long-term customer that's going to come back to you again and again.
When it comes to customer service, of course, it's a major key for repeat business because a lot of people go to you because they want, of course, they want the service, but then they want to see how do they feel. Like, how do I feel when I come in? How do I feel when I leave? That's why everything that, when it comes to my center, has to be welcoming. As far as what does it smell like what does it look like? What does your staff look like? Everybody's in sync. Is there somebody there to greet you? Is there somebody there to handshake, give you a smile? You feel welcoming. I always call my center, it's a place of healing. A lot of people come in, they're pissed off. Parents are upset, kids are upset. They're looking for help. They're failing. They're not, this parent's like, I've given up on my kid. I'm ready to kick them out. You get so many different stories, and then so that's why you have to be there to be that, be that consistent leader, and to be that calm in the storm. So I think that when it comes to customer service, for me, it's consistency. It's like I treat everybody the same. I think this is what Nubia was talking about earlier. Treating everyone the same. It's like when you come to me, you're like family. So again, like I said earlier, I have like 20 different places that are similar to me. But what separates me is the experience. It's like for our students, you just don't pay me and I tutor your kid and you go home. Me and my fiance, we go to the students' events, to their volleyball games. I go to recitals, I go to chess events, whatever it is. I don't go in there, I don't parade with tutoring club shirts. I go there just to let them see my face, to let them know that I support you. That it's more than just, I'm Mr. Tristan, the scary guy in the back of the office. It's like, no, you come in, you can talk to me. A lot of kids, they look to me as far as big brother. It's like, I don't want you to just to come in here, just to do your work and that be it. I want to know what's going on with you. If you look at school shootings across the country, there's been more school shootings in the last 5 years than ever been in history. And a lot of it is because kids are just like pissed off. I've talked to so many kids, I've gone through bullying, kids that have been suicidal thoughts. About a week or so ago, I had a kid who told me that, his cousin had just put on her headphones and just sat, in the middle of a train track and just let the train run over because they were being bullied in school. And he was having those type of thoughts as well because he was being bullied. And you realize that these customers, they have so much going on in their minds. And I think, going back to what you were saying, Nubia, it really hit home for me because a lot of times they feel like they don't have anybody to talk to. And then sometimes it's a stranger at your favorite bakery, a stranger at your favorite workout place, at your favorite tutoring place that can save a life. My job is pretty draining. I know, and Rachel, I love you for dealing with it because it is very draining for me because I have to do a lot of counseling, not only for the kids but for the parents. I don't know what my child is going to do. I don't know where they're going to end up. I don't know where they're going to go. They're going on the wrong path. They're not going anywhere. Kids, I don't even know my parents. I go to school, I come here, I go home, I go to sleep. I don't talk to them. So you realize that a lot of your customers want to, open their soul to you, and they want to, feel that genuine love. But if they are opening their soul to you, it's because they trust you. They trust that you can help them. And now you've not just become, just a vendor to them, just someone that sells them stuff. You become a friend. You become somebody that is, you got my back, and I'll come to you forever. Even when, my child is done, my child is graduated, I'll still pop in just to say, hey, I'm going to refer other people to you. 95% of my business is referrals, because parents feel great. Kids feel great. It's like you're going to come in, I say for kids, you bring your friends, and for a free hour of tutoring, whoever brings the most friends, I'm going to give you a free pizza party. I'm going to take you guys, everybody goes to the movies. For my birthday, Rachel, she went in and got everybody Tiff's treats. The kids and the parents, they all came in, and everybody got cookies and brownies. Parents were recording it. It was amazing. So it's all about how they felt, when they come into your place. And that's what just keeps them coming.
So yeah, I really, that stuff is, well, so to all of the entrepreneurs here, I think we all try to provide good experience to our customers, right? Even this business is commercial real estate, but it's also hospitality. Everyone who walks in here, I want to make sure that because they're using my service, their life is better and they're happier because of using us. And I'm sure it's the same way with all of us, right? We want to make sure that we have done something more positive for you, even if it's a small thing, like giving you a good quality coffee, to making sure you connect with the right people to have a better business, or just having a more productive place to work. We want to make sure we provide that for you. So that's really it. I want to just make your life better, even in a small little way I can, right? And that's how we grow with each other. Not to get kind of sidetracked, but like if you look at economy or GDP, that's how GDPs grow. Because before we weren't communities, we all became communities. We started helping each other. That's how GDP started growing, and then it just kept going on top of each other. And now we have a $1 billion GDP, and it'll keep growing as long as we keep helping each other. That's all.
All right, guys, another round of applause for our usually you have to pay for this type of feedback. And what I love about this panel, you can literally see why they are successful. And that's why I asked the last question, because the customer is key to your success, and they care about their customers. That's why they gave you such feedback. And typically whenever I am hosting any other panel, I'll hear maybe just one or two words of advice, but they really spoke from the heart, and that's what I definitely rewarded them for. In 10 seconds, because I know you have to leave, and we have to run into our Q&A. 10 seconds or less. This is the last question, I promise. We all innately desire support for our dreams and aspirations, and likewise, and we all do not desire those that try to discourage them. Can you provide our audience with advice on utilizing a support system, how to avoid the naysayers? 10 seconds or less.
Do you, and don't listen to the naysayers. Block it out. Do you.
Definitely surround yourself around people that believe in you. You have to.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, find like-minded people, go to networking events, find other entrepreneurs, and find those that have those same goals and that can support you and encourage you.
The people that talk down on you don't have the balls to do what you do.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm going to say the same thing.
So one of our quick photo op, and then we're gonna get into the Q&A before we move on to the next section. So all the photographers, can I get y'all in the building? We're gonna go ahead and take a photo op. Mario, come join us. Hiram, come on over. All right, everybody get up real quick?
Yeah.
We're gonna take a quick photo op.
Okay. I'm just trying not to.
Mario, come on.
Are you gonna take it first?
All right. We're gonna start with Spencer. We'll start with the guy that with the hat.
You're gonna go here first. Usually.
Start with her.
Yeah.
We'll start with the lady right here in the yeah, red jacket.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. This one? Yeah.
Now there's 5 more, 3, 2, 1, one more. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
My cheeks hurt.
Got it.
Talk about the shirts. $20.
Okay, after the Q&A. I know.
Somebody sit down. Somebody sit down. Yes.
All right, guys, so now we're gonna open the floor. We're now gonna open the floor. Can I have your attention? For Q&A, guys. Anyone have a question regarding the discussion we had today? Can I have your attention, please? Does anyone have a question?
Thank you guys for sharing your stories and your helpful advice. I really appreciate that. I'm not an entrepreneur, but I'm also a teacher. We all discussed sacrifice and a lot of difficulty going through building your brands, building your businesses. I would like to say, if you were to look back, would you do it all again the same way? And secondly, to be realistic in this day and age when we're very conscious of our health and being mindful of having that kind of balance, what kind of things would you add to make that experience different, to better yourselves to where you are now, and what would you tell other up-and-coming entrepreneurs?
Can you repeat the question and into the mic a little bit? I'm sorry, guys. The audio is not super loud.
Try to hold the
So we wanna
mic
make
up
sure everybody
to you,
can hear.
closer to your mouth so that we can hear you.
So my question is kind of two-part, right? Most business owners will say they'll do it all over again the same way. But to be realistic, there needs to be some kind of balance. You have to be mindful of your health and things like that. Like you're mentioning, losing 3 days of sleep is extremely difficult for anybody. But what kind of things would you do differently if you were to do it all over again? And what kind of resources, what kind of support, what things would you change? And what things would you advise another up-and-coming entrepreneur to change as well? Or to do differently to make sure that this habit or cycle or the system of that kind of level of sacrifice is sustainable?
That's a very good question. When I started, because when you're starting, your own business, of course, and if you are going to have lease a building, you have to buy, if you're buying a franchise, all that other good stuff, you have to look at the type of costs that go into it. So let's just say, like for my particular business, you need to invest at least $100K, to start up. So some people will take loans. Some people, they got it like that. I didn't. I didn't have it like that. And then some people, they take on partners. And so one of the things that I probably would have done differently, it was a lot more stress because I took it all from my savings. Everybody is different. I'm the type that I am a calculated risk taker, you can say, especially when it comes to my money. Because if I'm like, if I fail at this, then I have to start all the way from ground zero to rebuild that account back up. You know, I got to check it in savings kind of thing. And then so I took it all from my basically my savings, and I put it all in there. If I would have done something differently, maybe I would have taken like a $20,000 loan, because there were a lot of days where I had to basically tell myself, do you really need to eat McDonald's today? Do you really need to, like, you know, spend $5? Like, no, probably not. Get you a little shake or something, put a little protein powder, call it a day, get you a little granola bar. You know, it's you have a $3 meal instead of a $5 meal. It was some of those type of days. But that was because, again, I made that choice. Some people can, some people won't. But that's probably something I would have done different, at least a portion of it. Maybe got a little bit of a loan.
That's a good point. The other thing for me, I think I would have started sooner, earlier. I followed the rules too long. I mean, for example, I'm not saying don't go to school, but I took school way too seriously, and in the end of it, I went to corporate and worked and launched businesses for them, and I was just doing Excel and PowerPoint. I could have done that, learned that in a week. Like, I didn't need my MBA and all that stuff. So people make rules, doesn't mean they're right. Just do your own thing. If I would have done it earlier, I would have been way better than I am now at this, and not wasting my time. So just know yourself and make it happen.
Obviously, since my business itself is still very, very new, I know that there are still tons of property mistakes that I can't even quite see yet, but probably as, I hope the next couple of years go on, I'll be like, oh, yeah, I can see that now, that was a dumb thing to do. But since I am still new, there aren't many things yet that I, luckily, have been fortunate enough to say that, I would have done differently now. Obviously, the lack of sleep thing is not something I wish on anyone, and for many people, it's not necessarily essential. For the industry I'm in, unfortunately, many cake decorators, it's part of the industry, because everyone wants their cakes for when? For the weekend. You're baking a fresh product that people don't want you to start, obviously, like a week out or days in advance. And everyone has parties on Fridays and Saturdays, or gets married on Saturdays and Sundays. So unfortunately, the industry that I'm in requires a short turnover period so you can provide the best product, the tastiest, the freshest. So yes, I definitely do not recommend you hustle that much and lose sleep and forgo your health. I could not keep that up. There were times when I did almost make myself sick because of that, and being an entrepreneur like you, at the time, I didn't have anyone to fill in for me, so I didn't have the time and I couldn't afford to get sick. So I definitely don't encourage it. Now, would I have done it differently? No, because I'm a stubborn ass. And I also don't know if I would have been as successful that I am right now. And I'm not saying, I'm doing okay. Like, I could be doing a whole lot better and a whole lot more successful. But for being open a year and a half and been on Food Network like 5 times and whatever, like, I'm doing something right. And I don't know if I had kicked back and been like, yeah, you know what, I'm going to go out and drink tonight with my friends. Or if I had done those things, if I would have been where I am now, definitely not good long term. But it was something I was willing to give in order to give my business every possible chance that it would succeed. It's not something I wanted to do. I prefer to go to bed at midnight, 3 a.m., 5 a.m., but it's just what I saw was the necessary of what I had to give in order to make my business as successful as it could be. I can't say to someone, a bride, sorry I didn't turn up with your wedding cake. I kind of felt like having a Netflix binge, I was tired. So as much as I would love to do that and catch up on the later seasons of whatever, it wasn't doable for me. Now, yes, don't always do that, but definitely give it your all. You don't want to be mad at yourself for not giving it everything you have.
what I would have done differently was start sooner. I was a little bit of a late bloomer and definitely scared to do risk. I took a really conservative approach on how to build my business. I started out with minimal overhead, kind of renting space from other gyms, but essentially they didn't have the branding that I wanted. And at some point, I took the risk of let me create my own atmosphere and see how that works. So I would have done that sooner if I could, for sure. And I think starting sooner goes back to what I would recommend, which is to surround yourself around people that are going to pull the best out of you. For me, a personal struggle of mine was opening up to people and being vulnerable. It's a really hard thing to do when you come from a history of people that are not vulnerable at all and don't show their soft side. So as scared as I was to open up a business or to start something on my own, I didn't show that. It was like, yeah, everything is cool here, and meanwhile inside there's anxiety and panic and fear. Like, oh my God! So I kept that to myself for a long time, and I was taking incremental steps forward. But the minute that I started opening up to people, a lot of it had to do with my clients telling me, like, Steph, you can do this. Like, you can totally open up your own business. It's possible. We see nothing but success in you. It was people pouring into me and telling me what I myself could not see. And it took opening up just a little bit to understand, like, this is what I can actually do this. But I had to be around people that were telling me it and pushing me in that direction, because I think sometimes your worst critic is going to be yourself. It is. So you have to be around people that are going to at least check you on that and be able to get you back to that center place of what we're all capable of doing. We all have greatness within us. It's a matter of finding it and discovering it and bringing it out into fruition. That is your responsibility here on this earth, is to do that.
Yeah.
So those would probably be the two changes that I would make. Just started taking risks sooner, because no matter what, business is risk. Everything is risk. If you don't open up a business, you risk working for somebody else for the rest of your life, right? If you don't, take a chance to be in a healthy relationship or get married, you risk being by yourself. Like, everything involves risk. You just have to weigh out what is the better risk for you, what's going to have the better return for your personal goals. And then once you identify that, surround yourself around people that know that about you, and they're consistently going to remind you about that, even when you forget.
Yes.
We're running low on time.
All right, so this question is going to be for one or two panelists, so we'll raise your hand.
Well, sorry, it's not really a question per se. I'm a financial advisor, so it's kind of more advice, general advice for entrepreneurs. So having a good relationship with your banks is very critical for your growth, especially in tax world and all your other business lending, needs. Because in order to expand and do the things you want to do, you don't have to tie up all your cash into your business. Some of you have been in business for a year or two. You guys are at stake right now. Okay, well, banks say that you're solid enough and you're solvable enough as a business that you've been in existence for a few years. Now, okay, hey, let me open up a line of credit for you guys, so that way you don't have to tie up all your cash and you're able to expand properly. So my advice, just for all the entrepreneurs out here, is that have a great relationship with your bank. If you don't know these things, ask them. Especially the smaller banks, not the Wall Street banks who only care about the Fortune 500 companies. The regional banks out here. Just go ask the questions and say, hey, I need a line of credit, or business equipment for all your banking sheet and everything like that. Even for your kids and your venues and everything like that. They give you guys, tremendous opportunities to expand, for growth opportunities. So my advice, have a great relationship with all your banking, and have a banker of choice that you guys can talk to, so they can grow with you through your journey. People like, with Virginia, you have a lot of equipment. Certain banks, they can give you equipment lending as low as 3%. And that's awesome. Have a good relationship with your banks. That's what I was saying.
Okay, did anyone want to expound on that?
No, not in thinking.
I've had that experience, so I get it. Yes, that's right.
Do you have a question?
Oh, no?
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you. So everybody, can we get a round of applause? Everybody got something out of it? Are we still getting questions? No. But we're gonna have some time, the panelists are gonna hang around for a minute so you guys can ask some questions directly one-on-one. We gotta get ready, we're getting ready to do our Venture to Get Paid contest. We have a couple of finalists. They're gonna come up here and they're gonna live pitch their business to you, and one lucky winner is gonna win 3 months of free office space courtesy that we can venture at. So we're gonna do that next. In a minute you can come up and mingle with the panelists, but first we wanna have a little appreciation for them. So we have some gifts just to thank them for coming out today. This right here is all natural granola from Soniola Granola, and it sounds basic. It's like, it doesn't sound like it's that great, but it's the most amazing granola in the world. So we have one for each of you guys. Soniola Granola. Soniola Granola. And then we just have another gift in here. There's just some different stuff, entrepreneur t-shirts and different things like that. So just want to thank you all for coming out today. All right. And then if you guys want to come up here and just network, we're going to take a quick little intermission.
$20 t-shirt.
Oh yeah, t-shirts, guys. The reason we're here today, we're gonna talk about that in a minute, but we launched our line. It's Entrepaidneur. It's for entrepreneurs. We're gonna explain more, but we do have t-shirts for $20. So please support and get one. They're on the table right there. And we'll go ahead and we'll transition into a little bit of an intermission right now. Thank you.